In February 2025, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, implemented a 50% increase in telecommunication tariffs, including data, calls, and SMS, sparking public outcry, while telecom operators cite rising operational costs and sustainability concerns. Consumers and businesses are grappling with skyrocketing costs. Today on the program, we are going to examine the implications, the public reaction, and what the future holds for affordability and access to digital services. To help us digest these pressing matters of national importance, we have live here in the studio Mr. Egosa Egobame. He's an outstanding businessman with many years of experience and contribution in the hospitality industry. He is the MD CEO of Edosa Signature Hotel here in Benin City, Edo State, and of course the MD CEO Amena Groups. I hope I got that correctly. Thank you very much for being on the program this morning. What are the major reasons cited when the NCC actually felt there should be an increase of 50%?
Well, first and foremost, if you look at, I think if you go, the last time there was an increase in tariff was about 2013. And if you look at that vis-a-vis the exchange rate, cost of doing business, the operational costs, and ensuring that they must sustain investment in infrastructure and the business itself. If you look at from the business side, they are justified, and they even asked for 100% actually.
100% increase.
Yes, I think the agency had to scale it down.
Okay.
Now, the issue of this increment has been on the front burner for as long as I can imagine, and one of the major reasons is because of the tariff that the federal government has put on telecommunications in Nigeria. Looking at it from their own angle, do you think it's a right step in the right direction for them? Because they're also being hit as well. It's not as if it's an intentional stuff they just came out to carry out.
No, but if you look at it holistically, there is rising cost of living generally, globally. The Nigerian economy is being managed as we speak. The exchange rates, you cannot rely. The naira is so unstable that you can't predict what the dollar will be in the next 24 hours. So these guys, of course, they are capital. Don't forget, I want to bring it to your attention that these people paid a lot of money for these licenses. And they've invested billions upon billions into the entire value chain. In fact, before they started doing co-location, they invested in mass, they invested in fiber optics, they even did the deep sea cables. What do you expect?
Well, we understand the increment is not that bad since they have actually invested, like you said. But is it timely? Nigerians are feeling the heat. Increment on every side. Inflation is hitting everyone, left, right, center.
It's affecting everybody.
So is it timely?
When is the better time? I don't think if things were going the way it should go, they should even have, they would have asked for increment. What is the cost of diesel today as against 5 years ago? What is the cost of diesel today as against 24 months ago? What is the cost of dollar as against 2 years ago? So these are economic realities. You can't take it from doing the business. They are not running a charity. So if Nigerians are crying, yes, it's because we've gotten to this point. All of us are to blame. It's not because MTN or Glo or Airtel have just said, you know what, let us punish Nigerians. I think it's important that we see it from the business perspective. You know, they've come here to invest. Glo is a Nigerian company. Glo also suffers the same challenge that the ones that have come from outside suffer. So what are we talking about?
Right. Okay. So let's talk about the ripple effect it has had so far, because I think for a lot of Nigerians, social media is a way to get distracted and just find happiness that may or may not be true for them. And now with the cost of data, a lot of persons are complaining. I mean, someone even went ahead to say that if I continue to spend the amount I'm spending on data, I don't think I'll be able to make it in life, you know, and all of those things. So how really can we scale through the situation?
I appreciate that the generation Gen Z, right, rely on data a lot, right? But we must start looking inwards for solutions, because the truth of it is that this tariff and maybe even further increase has come to stay. You cannot, the government cannot force it. The market forces are demanding that there must be set tariff increase. So how do you now say you will peg it because consumer, these people are operating. Now, for the common man and for all of us, it's hard, it's biting, but these are the realities. It's not, we can't just wish it overnight to say, let the tariffs go or let the cost of doing business, because it increases the cost of doing business, whether you like it or not. And it also, even for those who are in education, it also increases the cost of education. It will even further increase the divide between, people who are technological savvy and those who are not. So, it's a quagmire in the sense that we cannot. The only thing that one can we can recommend now is just, okay, how do we continue to invest in infrastructure and the framework at which these guys operate? How do they reduce the cost of doing business vis-a-vis their own personal, corporate personal investment? So what can the government do to reduce their burden? Maybe import duties. We can look at it. You get it, because the man who has invested his money, his shareholders are looking for dividends. If you go back last year, 2024, MTN recorded $414 million loss. That's what it stated. Right, $440 million. Convert that to naira.
Okay. Mr. Egosa, you have traveled a lot.
Yes.
But it seems you are speaking for these telecommunication people now, because the last time I checked, you are in the hospitality business.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe you are a shareholder in one of them. Who knows? But however, you have traveled around the world.
Well, we are all stakeholders.
Okay, we are all stakeholders anyway,
Yes.
by extension. But you have traveled around the
Yes.
world. In some of these countries that you've visited, you use Wi-Fi. The country or the government of those countries subscribed or do a kind of palliative for the people. Why can't we have such in Nigeria?
Those are what we are saying. If the government can invest in this infrastructure, it costs money. It's the taxpayer that will suffer. Edo State has fiber optics. At our place at Central, we use fiber optics. The speed is 50 Mbps, when it's on. But do you know how much for that? It's not. So, if the government is crying through the NCC that the tariffs are getting too high, sit with these guys, negotiate with them. How can you reduce their cost of doing business so that their business remains sustainable? If their business is not sustainable, they will be out of business. So just imagine, we are crying out that the tariffs are high. Just imagine the systems don't work anymore. Just imagine at that point that we don't even have, you cannot, as you remember, it was earlier in the year, some network was just, they were just terrible.
Nigerians may not survive. We shouldn't go back.
So if
we've gone past the age of this.
Don't forget that all these cell sites, I'm sure now maybe they are now introducing solar. They were manned by generators, even in the rural areas. What was the cost of diesel then? Maybe 180. Today diesel is over 1,000 naira. So these things are not just. There are so many factors that influences the operational cost, which has made this skyrocket. I'm not speaking for them.
Okay.
I'm just speaking for the fact that this is what it is, even in our own business.
Right.
The cost of energy is something else.
Now, what is the future of telecommunication companies in Nigeria?
The future?
Yes.
Well, what I can say, I might not, I don't want to spell, promote or prophesy doom for them, but the truth of it is that if certain things are not addressed, some of them will pack up. They will pack up. MTN recorded 414 million. That's what is out there last year, dollars deficits. Can that continue? If that continues for the next 3-4 years, they will pack up their bags and go.
And is there a way the federal government can help mitigate some of this?
Certainly.
How?
Certainly. Well, I think they should sit down and look at some of the areas where they can reduce their costs. Maybe cost of importing equipment, maybe tax reliefs, tax board, tax incentives, tax holidays, give them a tax break. There are ways that they can actually do it for them. But somebody must bear that cost.
Talking about those bearing the cost, how is this tariff impacting on small businesses and especially digital entrepreneurs in Nigeria?
Certainly, they have to pay more. They have to pay more. And if they are paying more, they also increase the cost of doing business. So if you don't have data now, how do you run your business? Maybe data you would have bought for 2,000 naira, you're now buying it for 8,000 naira. Of course, that's eating into the pocket where even the disposable income is not even enough, or the budget for that is not even enough. Now you are taking more to get same that you used to get. That's where we are.
So is there need for more regulatory oversight of these telecom providers?
Regulatory oversight by NCC or?
By NCC.
Okay.
And by extension, the government.
Yeah, NCC is the authorized, I say, that governs the framework of these guys, for these guys to operate. I think the best that you can do at this time is for them to sit down. There should be honest conversations, very serious honest conversations, because communication and telecommunication is the backbone of most modern economies.
Okay, as we begin to wrap up now, let's be more practical. Back then, if you have 500 naira data on your phone, it can take you for a month. At least 500 naira back then will give you at least 1 gig or so. I can't remember, but at least as early as 2005, 2007, when we started using phones, we knew what we're spending. We're not spending more than 500 to get a gig, and it will take you for a month plus. But now with 20 gig on your phone, it will take you for 2 nights.
My brother.
Are they being honest?
My brother. 500, what year did you say? 2007. 2007. How much was the dollar then?
Okay.
The business is dollar driven now. It's dollar driven. It's painful that I'm speaking from this side. It's dollar driven. So how do you expect them to, you want to get the same value? We're in 2025 now. Okay. So you are talking about almost 17 years, right?
Not too far, even 2 years ago, you can still have value.
Because there was massive devaluation. As soon as the fuel subsidy was removed, the naira fell in value drastically. The cost of doing business skyrocketed, and it affected all sectors. Hospitality, telecoms, all sectors.
So in other words, you say we should hold the presidency on their jugular. They removed subsidy, it affected every aspect of our lives.
It was meant to happen. We were borrowing to borrow. So how do you do that? It was going to be a bottomless pit, if you understand it. There was no way out. We are a consuming nation. We don't even know. I'm hearing that the president is calling for another census. We don't even know how many people we are in this country. So how do you want to start even planning? How do you don't even know what and we consume everything. Everything is consumed. Not a chip, Not apart from even the metals that are used to build the cell sites are imported. So what is there any phone in Nigeria today? Any phone or any device that is manufactured? When I say manufactured, I'm not talking about assembled though, in this country. Is there any phone? So if we are 150 million people, and the 150 million people are using cell phones, every component and every part of all those phones are imported into this country. So what are we talking about?
So there's this popular saying that says data is life.
Yes.
And currently data is quite expensive.
Okay.
And for a lot of Nigerians, everything we do revolves around data and social media. So how can we manage the situation at this point? What would you tell that average Nigerian?
So I will tell you, if you don't need to communicate, if it's not important, don't make that call.
Really?
Don't burn your data. Yes.
So you don't call anyhow?
Manage what you do. So those of the ladies like you will go on social media, just be, you are surfing around for hours. I think that has also checked you.
Okay, we'll take that as your final take on the show. If you don't have anything to do, don't make that calls. If you don't need to go online, just switch off your phone and do other things. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Egosa Agobame, we sincerely appreciate you for being on the program.
Thank you very much.